So in this video we're looking at Norwegian Wood by the Beatles. We'll look at the intro, the verse and the chorus. Let's try and blast through all the parts, and I'll give you some tips about how to play them. So first we'll look at uke 1, okay? So it's our E major chord. So we've got our second, so that's your middle finger, third finger and pinky, they're in action on the 4th fret. So 4th string, 3rd string and 2nd string. So the only string that should have nothing on it at the moment is the one closest to the floor, the 1st string. Sound a bit like that, so you're all on the 4th fret, and then your 1st finger is going to pop down the 2nd fret of the 1st string. That's your full E major chord, okay? We're also going to be using a D, so people play D differently. Some people bar it like that with your finger. A good way in this song, I guess, is you can just lift up your 1st finger, slide those 3 fingers, this time on the 2nd fret. Okay? So that's your D. The final chord we need is an A major. So that is 2 fingers, 1st finger on the 1st fret of the 3rd string, and 2nd finger on the 2nd fret of the 4th string. And what we have is 5 bars of E, 1 bar where we go 1, 2, 3. So that's 2 beats of D, 1 beat of A, and then you go back for 2 bars of E. So I'll play through that after 3. 1, 2, 3, E, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 5. Then we're changing D, A, E, 2, 3, E, 2, 3. Okay, so 1, feel free to go back if you want to play through that a few times. If you're really struggling with the D to A change and then back to E, it sounds totally fine if you just play D for 1, 2, 3, 4 and then go back to E. 1, 2, 3, sorry, not 1, 3, 4. So you can skip out the A if it's causing you bother. Okay, cool. So let's have a look at uke 2. Now before we put the melody in, there's a strumming pattern used for this, which we'll get first. So the strumming pattern is down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, 1, 2 and 3 and 1, 2 and 3 and. So that's what we're kind of using for any bars that are strung. So for example, the first bar would be 1, 2 and 3 and. Okay, so we have that, and then we have 4, 2, 0. So that's on the 1st string. And it's just on the beat. 1, 2, 3. So those first 2 bars would sound like this. Yeah. And then we have the same thing after that. But the melody, we're on the 2nd string this time. 2, 2, 5, 4. Then back to E. D, D, A, E. So I'll play through uke 2 this time. 1, 2, 3. So what you probably notice there is I try and keep as much as my E chord down as possible. So for example, for the first bar, I keep all of this down and just move my pinky to go on the 4th fret. So it's ready to go down, and then I move my pinky up and my 1st finger along to the 2nd string for the next melody. Bum, bum, pinky, pinky, and then you just got to move 1 finger to get back to your E. So a little bit of practice there. What you'll probably find is these fingers want to shoot off. It just takes a concentration and just doing it really slowly to make sure these fingers just stay down. Okay, so uke 3. Now uke 3 I've written down, and if you play it like that, it will sound right. What I find is when I play it, I kind of loosen it up and don't play it exactly like on the sheet, but let's give it a go anyway. It sounds roughly like this. So there's a few things different this time. Now on the sheet I think I've got down, down, up, down. What I think I'm actually doing is down. I'm missing out the second down strum, but it sounds just as good if you do what's on the sheet. So that's up to you. So kind of figure out what's best for you. Either down, down, up, down, or down, up, down, up. Now the melody is slightly different because we've got what's called an ornament, where we're hammering on to our first note. So I'm doing that with my pinky. So I'm hitting the string while my first finger's down the second fret, and then I'm hammering down, so I only hit the string once. And then continue the melody after that to O. So instead of 4 to O, it's like a hammer 4 to O. And then I'm bringing my first finger across to the second string, and I hammer on with my pinky again, this time on the second string, 2 to 4. So I think of that as one riff. And I finish off there. Okay, so you've got and what I do there is when I've hammered that bit on for the second string, I actually keep this first string clear. I don't bar the finger down again. I keep my pinky down on the 4th fret, and I don't put my first finger back on the first string. It gives it a nice kind of suspended feel. And you'll notice that I'm keeping the chord down and I'm almost just strumming the melody. I'm just focusing on those high strings, but I'm not plucking it out like I did for you too. It gives you kind of overtones by the strings and stuff, which is quite nice. And then the what will be on the 4th bar. So it's exactly the same as sheet 2, 2, 5, 4, but I'm just kind of more strumming it this time. So you're picking out the notes. And then for the last E, before the D, D, A, I actually don't use these two fingers because you get this kind of bassier note, which I think works really nicely. D, D, A, E. So I'll play that through. Don't worry, that takes a while. I'm still messing that one up. So but it's a nice free melody. Okay, so the verse melody. After those chords, it's pretty easy. It's basically just kind of doing what you've done with the chords already with 1 or 2 extra notes. So you've got this: 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so the only extra things are on the first bar, you hit that 2nd fret first string. 3rd bar, instead of strumming a chord, you're on the 4th fret. Yeah, that one shouldn't be too hard to work out. On the sheet, you've got the top 3 strings. So just remember for those last 2 bars, 2, 2, you go in 3rd string, 2nd string, 3rd string, 3rd string. So that is the intro and verse. It isn't, but I've got my soprano uke. So I don't actually think I can do the sitar part. I'll do that separately at some point, just because it goes up to the 14th and 16th fret, and this only goes up to the 12th. So it's a cool part there. If you look at the performance the Saturday group did, you'll hear it. Okay, so the chorus. We're going on to some different chords. We've got an E minor, so that's your staircase chord. 2nd fret, 3rd fret, and then 4th fret. That's your E minor. Do that 4 times. And then you're on to A major. 3, 4, then you go to E minor. Then you go to your F F sharp minor. So it's basically your A major, get your A major down, and then your third finger goes second fret on the second string. So you got a triangle twice, and then your B7, which is kind of like your E minor, but just everything's moved one string towards your chin. So you still got the staircase kind of vibe. Second, third, fourth fret on the second string, third string, fourth string. Okay, so that is the chorus chords. Chorus melody, nice and easy. We've got this, so it's 1, 2, 3. So nice and easy to follow. Only thing I would really advise with that one is to accent beat 1. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And that will help you out, especially with when you've got lots of twos or something like that. It kind of reminds you how many twos you have. Okay, so tar chords, last thing, they kind of complement the chorus chords. So the first chord you've got is this one, which is barring the 7th, pinky on the 10th. And you do that like so. So it'll be 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then this kind of chord where we've got 5th fret and then either side was 7th fret. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And then you go back to the initial chords, so barring the 7th, pinky on the 10th. 1, 2, 3, 3, 1, 2, 3. Penultimate chord is you slide your pinky down back 1 to the 9th, keeping your 7th fret barred. And then the last chord is kind of a staircase, but starting in the 6th fret. So 6, 7, 8, and it sounds wild, but it works in context, the piece. I think that's everything apart from the versatile. I'll do that when I've got a longer neck. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed this one, and I'll see you at the weekend.